Hey kids, Miss Kulkarni here. So are you guys ready to learn how to name alcohols in organic chemistry? Well, let's begin. First of all, how do we know compound is an alcohol? The compound must contain an OH group. And then we always get the general formula as ROH, where what is the meaning of R? R stands for an alkyl group like methyl group, or it could be ethyl group, and so on. So here's an example of alcohol, that is the hydroxide group. This is called ethyl alcohol or ethanol. Let's find out more about the rules. So there you go. These are the rules for naming the alcohols. Rule number 1. We need to find out the longest possible chain of carbon atoms. But there is one condition. It must contain OH group. Rule number 2. We need to number the carbon atoms now. And we give the lowest possible number to the carbon atom that is connected to the OH group. For the name, we look at the parent name. Maybe if it's hexane, pentane, we remove that E and then we add the word OL. So for example, if we have a 5 carbon atom chain, that is pentane. And then if we have an alcohol, we remove that E and we write down that as pentane, and we are going to add OL to that, so that becomes pentanol. Now what if we have 2 or more hydroxide groups? What are we going to do? We add di or tri before the OL. And we will have more examples coming up, so it will get clear. And then the last thing, don't forget to add the prefix number to the carbon atom to which OH group is bonded. So here is our first example. I only have 2 carbon atom chain, that's the longest possible chain. Now we need to start numbering from the carbon atom which is attached to OH. So I put 1 for this carbon atom which has OH attached, and this will be second. 2 stands for eth, that means I have ethane as the parent name. Now in case of alcohol, what do? We remove that E and we add OL. So it is ethanol. Now what is the carbon atom to which that OH group is attached? It is 1. So we can technically write down that as 1 ethanol, or we can put as ethane 1 OL. But in practice, if there is no number given, that means it is 1. So we can actually cross that out and we can simply write that as ethanol. Let's look at the second one. Here is the OH group. And now for numbering, we can number it from left to right or right to left. It does not matter. The carbon atom which has OH attached will still get number 2. So if the number of carbon atoms is 3, the parent name is propane, and then we are going to remove that E, so it will be propan, and then we are going to add OL to that. And which position we got OH? At position number 2. So we can say it's 2-propanol. We can also write down that as propan 2OL. Moving on to the next example. And over here, we got 2 OH group. The longest carbon atom chain here is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and whichever way you try to number, the hydroxide OH will always have the least number of carbon atom as 2. So I'm going to start numbering from left to right. So the parent chain is pentanol. I'm going to write pentane, remove that E, and it's going to be OL. But wait a second, we got 2 OH groups there. That means it is diol. So it's going to be diol. And now which are the positions for those OH groups? One is at position 2 and next one is at 4. So we can say pentane 2,4 diol. Here is an example of cyclic compound with OH and a ring with 5-membered carbon atoms will be called as cyclopentane. So I am going to follow the same rules. From cyclopentane, we remove that E and then instead we are going to put there OL. Now there is no need to write down this carbon atom number as 1 because we only have one OH group. Are you finding this quite easy? Let's move on to more examples now. In this chain, OH is attached to the right side carbon atom, and for numbering, we need to always start from the carbon atom which has that OH group there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now wait a second, which way I need to go? I need to make sure I should get still the longest possible carbon chain. In this example, however, whichever way I go, I will still end up having 5 carbon atoms. So why not go straight in line there? So what do we have? We got a chain of 5 carbon atoms. That means this is pentane, and then I'm going to get the alcohol, so it is pentanol. And you can put that as 1 pentanol or pentan 1-OL. We got that methyl group there. So we are going to add that methyl group, 4-methyl and 1-pentanol. Or we can also add it to this, 4-methyl pentan 1-OL. Alright, look at the next one. The numbering will again begin with carbon atom that is holding that hydroxide group. And now at position 3, we got chloro, and position 4, we got bromo. So what's the name going to be? Look at this. It's going to be 4-bromo, 3-chloro, and pentan 1-OL. Now why did we put bromo first? Because alphabetically B comes before C. How about next one? There is the OH group. That means we need to start numbering from that carbon as 1, 2, and 3. And now which way I'm going to go? I need to make sure I get the longest possible chain. So my numbering goes in this particular order. And the parent chain is of 5 carbon atom. So it's going to be pentan 1-OL, pentanol. And over here, it will be 3-methyl. Look at the next one. It's a cyclic alcohol. That's our OH group. But we also have 2 other substituents there. So let's find out first the parent name. That is a ring with 6 carbon atom. That means it will be hexanol. And we don't need to really write down that hexane 1-OL. But that's 1, 2, and that is going to be 3. So we got one as chloro and the second one is methyl. Remember alphabetically, chloro comes before methyl. So it's 2-chloro, 3-methyl and hexanol. Alright, are you guys ready for some more complex examples of alcohols? Over here, in this first example, we got 2 functional groups. One is an alkene and other is OH. But remember, who is the boss? OH group alcohol is the boss. So I'm going to start numbering from right to left in this manner. And when it comes to naming, we're going to look at the parent chain, which is penta. But I'm going to stop at pent because we have an ene there. So we can write down pent 3-ene. And at position 1, we have alcohol. So we put 1-OL. So this way we are able to list both the groups. Okay, let's work on one more example and see what we got here. There is our OH group, but we also have 2 more functional groups here. One is a triple bond alkyne and other is a methyl group. So who is the boss? Guess what? It's going to be alcohol. So numbering is going to begin from right to left in this fashion. So the parent chain is going to be hexane. So you're going to begin with hex. Since we have a triple bond there, let's find out. We should write down that as hex 4-YE. And then alcohol is of course at position number 1. So we put 1 OL. There is one more group and that's methyl group at position 3. So we put that as 3 methyl, hex 4-YE and 1 OL. Pretty simple, right? So guess what? You guys know now how to write the structure of any given alcohol. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you again in next video. Until then, bye bye.